Who are you without the labels? Who are you without the title? If this question resonates in any way and you're curious and want to know more about this question, as a woman, this is the month of February, Valentine month. This is a month where a lot of people are seeking love in different places, and that's okay. But the question is, let's start with you. Leadership starts with you. Loving others starts with loving yourself. Well, welcome to my channel. If you're new, thank you for joining us. If you're a returning subscriber, we appreciate you. Continue to come back to learn, to grow, so that together we can shine brighter. My name is Esther Hepzibah, and I talk about all things business, leadership, and wellness on this channel. So, beautiful souls, I'm going to be talking about a heart-to-heart conversation about something that I believe is extremely important, that I don't think, honestly, from my experience, I've experienced of those that I've had the privilege of working with, has been taught in a way that would help move us forward in a direction of our purpose. And that is the word identity. I'm sure you can identify as women. We often define ourselves by roles, expectations, or even achievements. We take on labels like the responsible firstborn of the family, the career woman, Mrs. So and so, the perfect mom. But what happens when those labels shift? If your job, your relationship, or title were stripped away, would you still know who you are? I remember a movie that I watched. I think it was The Overcomer. I'm not sure, but I remembered that in that movie, they asked a man, he's a pastor, I believe, they asked him a question: who are you? And the goal of that question was to peel back the layers of who he truly was. He said, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a pastor. He kept going on and on. I'm a coach for sports. And then the man asked the question again: who are you? Oh, he said, yeah, I'm a child of God. Then he said, so why was that the last title or the last reflection of your identity? And again, this is not a question to judge anybody. This is the question that I still ask myself as often as I can. This question is to help you look deeper, because sometimes we're so tied and attached to these labels that do not really define our identity. So let's go deeper into understanding identity versus labels. Like, how do you break free from misplaced identity? And I mean, this topic was something that I sat with a week before my birthday while I was reflecting, and I decided to create a video series out of this. Maybe it's going to be my upcoming book as well. Stay tuned for my upcoming book called Making Peace with Your True Identity. All right. So back to this, and I sat back and looked at my own life. And I found that the best way to live life with full freedom is to find and embrace your authentic self, the one that God created. So if you've ever felt lost or stuck in the roles that has been placed on you, this is for you. Let's dive in. Let's start with the why. Why do we get stuck in labels? I just shared a snippet of a movie, and I believe that is life defining, to ask yourself, who am I without the labels? Who am I without all these titles? I'm going to share something really personal. Growing up, I always felt I had to be the strong one. Why? Because I was the firstborn, the first child of a family of 5. And we were taught, we're in an environment, a religious environment, that, you needed to have it all together. And then I got married, and suddenly I was Mrs. XYZ. But when that chapter ended, I found myself questioning, so who is Esther outside all of this title? Like, am I the firstborn child? Am I the Mrs. XYZ? Or And then I lost my job as well. Right? It's interesting when all these titles and labels get stripped, then who am I? You're not alone if you find yourself questioning that. Maybe you were raised as a fixer in your family. So you constantly, naturally will put yourself last. Please do not tell me that I'm alone in this. That was my life for years. I had to put myself last. Or maybe you were told that marriage is the highest achievement. Like you need to have that. That's kind of your PhD, right? And so your identity is tied to being someone's wife. But then you don't even know who you are. Like you can't find the whole you first. You feel like somebody has to complete you. Maybe your career defines your worth, and without it, you feel empty. When our sense of self-worth is tied to all of these external labels, and there's so many other labels, we set ourselves up for burnout. No wonder that this girl has been burnt out twice. And I've had 3 near-death experiences. We set ourselves up for comparison. I call it the comparison trap. And even identity crisis, because when those things shape, then you're kind of naked. Like, who am I? So think about this. A label is something that's put on you. But your identity is something that comes from within you. And I believe that true transformation, which is the name of my business, by the way, that's what I bring to my clients, comes from within. It's an inside out experience. A label is outside in, it's what has been put on you. So labels change, careers end, relationships end, even a marriage dies, kids grew up, marriages shift. Identity, who you were created to be, who you are at your core, does not depend on a title. So for those of you who are people of faith, Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5 said, before you were born, I knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. So before all of these labels came, there was a core identity. So if God has called me by name before I had a title, then who I am is more than any role I've played in this life. Think about that for a second. For a woman, I hope this is awakening for you, because it was kind of a cold water shock when I reflected on this a couple of weeks ago. Looking back at where I'm coming from and where I'm at now, I am so much at peace with my identity. And this is why this is the title of my book. So as to wrap this up, I want to look at, the danger of tying identity to achievements or relationships. Again, there's burnout. Where identity is tied to being the superwoman, the strong one. Guess what? You never allow yourself to rest and you burn out trying to prove yourself. Oh my goodness. Like I always say, I'm a student in this, so I'm not a master. I'm still learning. I got burnt out trying to prove who the labels were, right? You can never outrun your identity. Now, if you believe success is tied to a title, you will feel like a failure the moment things don't go as planned. You will look around at others and wonder, why is she thriving while I'm struggling? This is a huge topic. This is a topic that I feel like has not been talked about a lot. And I think there's a lot of light that God is shining on this, because the moment we stop defining ourselves by labels and titles, there's so much. You can breathe, you can rest without guilt, you can say no without guilt. When identity is also built on external rules, change becomes terrifying. Divorce, career shifts, or kids leaving home can feel like you're losing yourself entirely. Like, oh my goodness, who am I going to be? So I'm going to take a pause here. Can you relate to any of this? Have you ever felt lost when a season in your life has changed? Drop a yes in the comment if this resonates. Have you ever felt lost when a season in your life changed? So the next step is, as we wrap this up, how do you break free and rediscover your true identity? Well, I'm going to give you a snippet of my upcoming book. The step 1 is ask yourself hard questions. Ask yourself hard questions because that's what's happened. I remember when I made a life-changing, life-saving, life-defining, life-transforming decision in 2022. I had to sit with myself for 30 days and with God. I had to ask myself some hard questions. And I was able to gain clarity. Who am I when no one is watching, when all of these titles is not here? What parts of my identity feel forced or exhausting? The last question you want to ask yourself is, if I wasn't a wife, if you're married, or a partner, a mom, a leader, a daughter, a sister, what would still bring me joy? Those are hard questions. And you honestly, you might need a coach, you might need a professional counselor or therapist, you might need some professional help with this to help you truly answer this question with authenticity. Now, the second step is rewriting your internal narrative, which is something I've been doing for myself. Start declaring this daily. I'm not just my titles, I am worthy just as I am. My identity is secure in who God created me to be. I am loved, I am whole, I'm enough. I don't need any title. Step 3, embracing the power of being instead of doing. I'm not saying you should not pay your bills. I'm not saying you should not do anything. I'm saying that prioritizing being instead of doing. It means that your doing flows from a place of being. Letting go of the pressure to prove yourself. You don't have to earn your worth. Try doing things that make you feel alive instead of just accomplished. All right, so we're wrapping this up today. I want to challenge you today. What is one label you're ready to let go of? Maybe it's the need to be the fixer, right? We all know that we tend to do this. Trying to fix people, trying to fix things, and then we get one out. Maybe it's finding what in your job title, whatever it is. What's one label that you're ready to let go of? I'm not saying you should stop being a mom. I'm just saying that is that what is driving your identity? Or is it a reflection of your identity? So if this message spoke to you in any way, maybe just one woman is listening or watching this and saying, this is for me. Don't keep this to yourself. Please share this video with a friend who needs to hear it. And stay tuned for part 2, where we'll go deeper into rebuilding your identity from the inside out. Now, don't forget, it's my birthday month, and below this video is a Healthy Boundaries ebook at a special rate for this month. And if you want to join us in the Shine Business Builders community as well, for women who are ready to monetize their experience, their expertise and skills so they have recurring income, the link is also below this video. Thank you once again for being here. You are more than enough just as you are. Let's continue this journey together. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.